Luminary dedication ceremony at the South Tower Cafe. The ceremony lets guests see the lighting of the Christmas tree in the hospital, along with naming luminaries that were purchased by donors. The Camden Clark Employee Choir and Smoot Theater Children's Chorus also performed Christmas songs. Director of the Children's Chorus, Barbara Full, said they have been practicing since August, and she couldn't be more proud of them. The executive director of WVU Medicine Camden Clark Foundation, Kim Couch, said it's still important to highlight Christmas, even if you have to spend it in the hospital.
And we were glad to come back. They're always such an appreciative audience, and it's certainly a wonderful event. And I was so proud of not only how the children sang, but how respectfully they sat while all the luminary dedications were being read.
These are long days that you could be spending in the hospital. You know, we have a player piano that plays Christmas music all throughout the day, but to have just a break from the tediousness of waiting in the hospital or whatever, the anxiety, just have a moment to celebrate and take in the Christmas decorations and the wonderful entertainment that we had this evening.
Couch said it's even helpful for the employees to be able to enjoy the decorations.